There are a lot of videos out there telling you how you can edit faster in Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro or your video editor of choice. But I think this video is a bit different because it really isn't about specific software. This method will work with any video editing software. And when editing my own videos, I've found that I get the edit done a lot quicker if I edit in reverse. What the heck do you mean, Marcus? Okay, so no, not reversing your footage, but editing in reverse, or backwards. And what I mean by that is starting my edits at the end of my footage and working my way back towards the beginning of my footage. How does that make editing faster? Well, if you're like me, I script out almost all of my videos, so almost everything you hear me say, I'm reading from a teleprompter. I'm reading from a teleprompter right now. But even though I've scripted it out word for word what I want to say, it doesn't mean I always say it right the first time. We all flub words or stumble here and there and have to start over. I'm no different. Sometimes it takes me 10 tries to speak an entire sentence. But here's the thing. For me, I know that if I recorded 10 takes, there's almost no reason to use the first 9 takes. Because if any of the first 9 were the best one, why would I have recorded a 10th take? So generally, I use the last take that I recorded and quickly cut out and delete the rest when editing. I almost always just start my edit at the end of my footage with my outro, and then I start backing up from there. So in this example edit, I drag my footage onto the first video layer of Adobe Premiere. Then I go to the end and find the outro I like, if I recorded the ending multiple times. Once I found the ending I like, I usually make a cut right there just before I start saying the last line of dialogue for the outro, just to give me a visual marker of my timeline that that's the ending I want to use. I may not actually make a visual change on screen during the edit of that cut if the previous line of dialogue flows into the next section well, but making a cut just signifies that that's the clip I want to use. And then I actually move all of my good takes up to the second video layer. This is another visual way for me to remember that anything in the second layer is approved and ready for use in the final edit, and anything in the first layer is not cut or reviewed yet. And here's where my edit in reverse method really starts working fast for me. If I look at my footage, I can see in this example several breaks in dialogue here, here, and here as I move backwards in the footage. So if this last piece of dialogue right here, just before my outro, is the last sentence or paragraph in my script, then I almost always know that the last take is the one I'm going to use. So I quickly back up in the footage and listen to the other pieces of dialogue that I can see in the waveform and determine which segments are the same dialogue or the first few takes of that part of the script. So for this example, I've determined I recorded 3 takes of this line of dialogue. Here, here, and here. And I make a cut just before the first take so I can visually see all of the takes in one segment. And then I'll review the last take in its entirety, and if it's good, I'll simply make a cut before the beginning of the last take. Then I usually just delete out all of the previous takes, which I already marked by making that cut at the beginning of the section of the script I recorded. So if you've recorded 55 minutes but you need to edit that whole video down to 10 minutes, that can seem very daunting. But if you use the reverse method and delete out all of those first 5 bad takes, you can really start to take large chunks out of your edit very quickly and get it down to where it needs to be. And that's why I cut my footage into segments of different takes, so I know quickly once I make that cut what I can delete out. Sometimes I won't even review the previous takes because they almost always contain mistakes or flubbed words where I had to stop and start over, so they're almost all unusable anyway. I found that if I edit forwards, starting at the first take, I might think that the first take is good, only to realize that I flubbed a word at the end of a sentence and started over during the recording. So I delete out the first take and start listening to the second take, thinking, well, this must be the good one, only to realize that I messed up again on the second take. And this would take forever because I wasn't finding and identifying all of my takes first. And I started seeing that in my performances, most of the time, the last take is usually the best one. Because again, why would I have recorded a 6th take if the first 5 takes were good? I can almost always know that if I record 6 takes, I'm usually going to cut out the first 5. And that's why I edit in reverse. And that's just been my experience with myself and my recordings. If you're recording yourself or someone else that's giving a completely scripted or somewhat scripted performance, a lot of the time the last take is the best one because it might contain less mistakes. Like you, me, or the person you're recording got a lot of practice during the first few takes and was able to deliver it great on the last take. That's not always the case, but for my YouTube videos where I'm trying to give information and not so much a performance, this method has worked well for me and made my editing workflow a lot more streamlined. And here's what a time lapse of me editing a video in reverse looks like. I mess up a lot. I think we all do, and it's just part of trying to record a video. You can't always get the words out right the first time. Heck, I can't even get them out right the 10th time sometimes, but that's just how it goes, and it's part of what we do. So, editing in reverse. Hopefully you've learned something that can help you speed up your edits. It helps me out a lot, so good luck and have fun.